everybody, it's Sarah with Coffee Knits with Sarah, and I'm a knitter, a newish gardener, and a stay-at-home mom based in the Metro Detroit area of Michigan. And today is my 7th podcast episode. We're going to be talking about quite a few things, including 2 different fiber expo shows that I've attended in the past couple weeks, and the goodies that I purchased from those shows, as well as some progress on my make-along t-shirt that I'm doing with my friend Jamie at M1 Yarns. And then we're gonna kind of end the video with some garden updates and upcoming plans with knitting. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Let's start with progress. Well, actually, no. Let's start with what I'm wearing. Okay. It's a light pink cotton acrylic sweater, I think, that my grandmother knit. And it kind of is too small on me. So you'll notice that it's a little bit more like on the cropped side. I'll stand up really quick. So my grandmother was quite a petite woman, but you know, it's like cuffed. You can see some coffee stains here, but also just look at this detailing. I am not someone who does a lot of cable knitting. And I also don't love knitting with cotton or certain fibers that hurt my hands. So wearing this sweater, I can only imagine the skill that went into it. And if you're new here, by the way, welcome. My grandmother taught me to knit. She's no longer around, and I inherited some of her knitwear that she made many, many years ago. And this is one of those sweaters. So I don't know what the pattern is, as per usual. So if anyone is like a knitting sleuth and you know the pattern for this design, that would be really cool to share it with me. But I thought I'd pop it on because it's actually pretty warm here today in Michigan, and I just spent the whole morning outside with my 2 girls. We were pulling weeds out of the garden bed and trying to get some mulch down. And I'll probably be doing that this afternoon after I finish this video and my kids wake up from their nap. I feel like I'm talking really fast today. I think the pressure of how much I have to share is catching up with me, but let me take a deep breath. All right. The first thing I wanted to talk to you all about is a little WIP update, work in progress update. And everything's gonna bleed in together, honestly, because there's just a lot to share. And if you're unfamiliar, if you're new here, or maybe you're returning, you'll remember that I am hosting a make-along with my good friend Jamie at M1 Yarns. And the make-along is called the FriendshipTeeMAL. And you can pick any tee or tank top pattern. And it started March 20th. Yeah. March 20th, so it started last month, and it runs till June 20th. And there is a Ravelry group, as well as conversations happening on social media, like on Instagram. But this is my my t-shirt. So I am making the Salty Air Tee by Samantha Gurin, and it's in the colorway Poppy, which is actually one of Jamie's yarns. And I think it's turning out really nice. It's just like the mood booster color for me. Every time I work on it, it makes me so happy. And I am alternating skeins so that I hopefully don't have any pooling or anything, because I've run that risk before, and I don't want to risk it this time. Even though when I was doing the swatch, it looked really good. But yeah, I am almost done with the first repeat for the pattern, like this lace work, and it's not been blocked yet, so I apologize if it just is hard to see. But yeah, I am almost done with the first repeat, and then I have to do this lace work, like another or half of it again. I don't know if that made sense. It's one full repeat and then, or one full blah, 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 blah. You knit 32 rows of this lace pattern, and then you do it again, but you stop halfway, at least for my size, the size that I'm knitting, which is a size 4. And yeah, I'm really loving it. Like I said, I'm just really excited to split for the sleeves and kind of be done with the lace, even though it is like engaging to do, but it doesn't really make for good knit while watching TV, at least for me. Like, I need to pay attention when I'm doing lace, or else I'll botch it and then become really frustrated and have to rip it back. Nobody wants that. And so anyways, if you'd like to join us, there's still plenty of time to cast on for the Friendship Tee Make Along, and there are prizes. Jamie and I actually we're working with someone to do little stitch marker, like progress keepers, and that'll all be, revealed at a later date. But we're really excited to be hosting this together as friends and just celebrate spring. And that leads me, I guess, to the fiber festivals that I attended, because they both include Jamie. The first one is the Fiber Expo. Sorry, I'm looking over at my notes that I have written on a piece of paper here. So I attended the Fiber Expo in Ann Arbor, and although I grew up in Michigan, I had never been to Ann Arbor before, and so that was quite the treat to drive down with my good friend Kelly and get to meet up with not only Jamie, but another good friend of ours, Nadia, and just walk around all the booths for the fiber show. And they even had some llamas there and some sheep, and it was just a really sweet festival. I picked up some goodies. The first one is this bag that I'm holding my saltier tea in. It is gorgeous, and it's from Knit Two Together. If you can see the little wooden label here. I will, as always, link in the show notes down below everything that is discussed in today's episode, so you can connect with this maker if this bag is, calling to you. She has just the most beautiful fabric selections. The bottom of this bag is like a waxed canvas tote, and then it has the thick, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it'll come to me later, or I'll pop it at the bottom. But this material here with a pocket, and then there's pockets inside, as well as this fun pop of pink, which is great. More pockets. And then it also came with a free strap that attaches to these hooks here, so you can kind of wear it as a purse. So I've been really enjoying using this bag. I found out kind of before the show, as I was thinking like, well, what would I like to buy that, if I came across it, and I looked at all my project bags and realized most of them are winter themed project bags, because that makes sense. I'm knitting mostly in the fall and winter. However, I thought it'd be nice to have something spring or summer, patterned. So this bag came into my life at the perfect time. And the other things that I picked up at the Fiber Expo include this awesome sign. Screenshot. Maybe, I don't know. It says yarn, an item to which the word enough does not apply. How perfect. And usually I think this sits like behind me. I haven't found like a permanent home for it, but it does have a notched out little hook section to put it on the wall. But I thought that was just adorable. And then the other thing that I got, I feel like I'm missing something, but the biggest thing is I got some new yarn. This is from Fiber Story in their base cozy sock. It's the colorway Truffle, and it's fingering weight, 60% superwash merino wool, 20% superfine alpaca, and 20% nylon. It is a dream. Like, it's so soft and squishy. I don't know. It's beautiful. So this yarn dyer is new to me, but my two friends who I went with, they like introduced me to Fiber Story and had knit a shawl in this exact yarn. And now that I'm speaking to you about it, I'm realizing I'm forgetting the name of the shawl pattern. So I will pop that below, right here somewhere. So that's my plans for this yarn, is to probably knit the shawl so we can kind of be twins and all have that shawl together in different colorways. But it's just so beautiful, and I love a good neutral color, and I think it'll make a beautiful shawl to wrap around my neck when it's cold out. So again, that's Fiber Story, merino, alpaca, and nylon. It's just, what a dream. I'm really excited about this. So that, I think, is the Fiber Expo. I don't think there's much else to talk about, except that, you know, if you haven't been before, I encourage you to check it out. And yeah, I don't know, I'm trying to like make it a goal each year, now that I'm back living in Michigan, to go to a new fiber festival in the area. And this year I'm like doing really well. So I'm doing the Fiber Expo, and then the next one I want to talk about is actually YarnCon in Chicago that I just came back from, which, you know, was a local Midwest show. So yeah, I guess I'm just collecting my thoughts for a second. So yeah, the blah, blah, blah. So yeah. Can I say another word? Okay. The other fiber show that I recently attended is called YarnCon in Chicago, and it's located on like the West Loop, at the Plumbers Union Hall, and the venue was just really cool, kind of tucked away in this very trendy neighborhood of Chicago, and very walkable to like restaurants and other things in the area. And my friend Jamie at M1 Yarns, she was exhibiting, she had a booth there for the first time, and she had reached out to our little friend group asking if anyone wanted to join her to help support her in the show. And I, you know, made it work with my schedule, got a babysitter, shout out to my amazing mother-in-law and my husband, and I got to go for the weekend and have a little girls trip with Jamie and set up her booth, which took a lot of, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, but we did it. And I got to like peek behind the curtain of what it's like to, you know, be a badass woman in the yarn industry, basically. And also like all the other people who were there that I met. Hello, hi, if you're watching and you're a new person, like it was a joy to connect with so many people in the yarn, knitting, crochet, fiber community, spinning, you know, there's just so many different people there. And fun fact about me, I went to college in the western suburbs of the Chicago land at Dominican University in Oak Park, River Forest, and I had not been back to Chicago in probably almost 10 years. That seems crazy. Yeah, probably that long. Anyways, it was like just a warm hug. It was a nice homecoming for me to get to go back to Chicago, and it just reminded me of all the reasons why I chose to go there for my undergrad school, and I really missed it. It was really a joy to be there, and I just am incredibly grateful to Jamie for giving me the opportunity to tag along with her and help her the whole weekend and just support her and yeah, just do everything. It's just, I'm kind of at a loss for words because as I'm talking about it, I'm, you know, reliving the experience, and it was just like my heart is so full that I got to do that. And yeah, I just, I know it takes so much work to have a business, like a small business where you dye yarn and then you have to go out and sell it. And maybe you have a website, maybe you don't, but it's just a huge undertaking to put yourself out there like that. And so I have just a deep appreciation and respect for everyone in the business. And yeah, it was just a wonderful opportunity. I've probably said that a million times, so I'm gonna stop, but it was just an amazing time. And Jamie and I also got to, you know, go out to eat and laugh and cry and just grow closer in our friendship. And it was just a beautiful thing to experience, because as you grow older in life, and I think also as you become a mom, or, you know, you go through different phases in your life. And right now I'm in, you know, early motherhood trenches. And I also like recently moved back to Michigan after living on the East Coast for the past 10 years. And so it just finding friends and people that you connect to, I think is so much harder as we get older. And I just am really grateful that I found Jamie and the friends that I have now that are in my life. So all my love to Jamie and everyone that I met at YarnCon. You are all amazing. Now, let me stop rambling and show you the yarn that I got at YarnCon. Okay, first we're gonna start with some beautiful mohair from Jamie. It's called Skipping Stones on her base Riding on Air, and it's kid mohair and silk. And she was selling like little kits to make socks, and she was pairing this with a like undyed alpaca fingering weight, I believe, yarn. And I told her that if nobody bought this set, because it was the only set in this colorway that she had, and I told her if nobody, by the end of the weekend, if that set's still there and nobody's bought it, it's coming home with me. Well, somebody bought the alpaca base. And so this mohair was just sat all by itself And Jamie generously gifted it to me as a little thank you for helping her. And now I am just gonna stare at it until I eventually purchase that alpaca yarn from her again when she gets it back in stock. Do I know what I'm gonna make with it? Absolutely not. Maybe a hat, maybe a cowl. She has a cool pattern out right now where she uses like some yak, I think. Yeah, some yak. I'll have to look into that. But I just thought that this green yarn was calling to me, like the green with the purple. It was just telling me spring, you know, and I just needed it. So that's the first thing. And the other thing that I got was from Plied, and they're based in Baltimore. So back kind of where I came from. Like I said, the past 10 years I was living in Maryland. This is the yarn that I purchased. Let's see. How fun is this? So this is on their North Avenue base. It's 100% wool, and it is just gorgeous. The colorway I got is Pink Flamingo and then Periwinkle. So it's like periwinkle blue and then pink flamingo. And the blue that's in this pink flamingo is this blue. Let me see. Is it gonna do that? You're probably wondering, what are you going to make with that, Sarah? Well, as I've said, I have 2 daughters, and one of them has a sweater and the other one doesn't. So the plan is to make a striped sweater. Specifically, I'm going to make the sibling sweater by Laura Penrose for my youngest, who is turning 2 on Friday. Yeah, wow, okay. Obviously, this is not gonna be done in time for her 2nd birthday. Let's make Christmas the goal, you know? Christmas, that sounds reasonable. But I just thought that this was such a beautiful pairing, and Plied is a new to me yarn company, and I really thought they were just the coolest people. And they're gonna be at Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival vending, so if you're in the DMV area and you're planning to go to, or if you're, you know, traveling to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, go check out Plied Yarn and tell them Sarah says hello. So look out for this cast on, because this yarn's calling to me. It's really, really nice. The colors are just giving spring, and I really want to cast it on right away. So yeah, that's kind of all my acquisitions, my yarn, all the things that I've got going on. The next thing I kind of want to talk to you about real quick are some garden updates, and then we'll wrap up with what's coming next for me. All right, let me have a sip of coffee. It's probably cold. Yeah, it's getting to that, like, I don't want to drink it temp. I love an iced coffee, but like if warm coffee becomes cold coffee, it loses the appeal. Anyone else out there like that? All right, so as I think I mentioned at the very beginning of the podcast, my daughters and I are slowly but surely weeding the garden beds in our yard. Maybe I'll insert some pictures or photos, but the exciting part of that is that we had planted a bunch of bulbs in the fall with my parents who were visiting from Florida, and they have finally started to pop up out of the ground. We have just a nice little variety of things. I wrote them down so I would remember. So we have some Pugster Blue dwarf butterfly bushes. Those have lived, I think, through the winter. But the bulbs, we have some allium and some tulips. We also Blends of Beauty, Narcissus, Rip Van Winkle, and Blue Giant. What else do I have? I have like my notes here with my little sketch. I need to come up with a better system, I think, because I probably am gonna lose this. We have some anemone, Japanese September charm plants. We have roses, which we pruned. With my dad helped me prune them. He knows how to do that in his wisdom, and so I think those have lived. We transplanted them last fall, and again, if you're new here, like we moved into this house a year ago, and the owners, things had kind of overgrown, and so it was just the process the past year of like assessing everything that was in the yard, figuring out if we wanted to keep it, if it was a native plant, if it was not a native plant. So the roses we kept, but we moved them. And then we also have elegant lady tulips coming out, poet daffodils coming up, little beauty tulips, and what else? Darwin hybrid tulips, peony. My peony plant survived. So excited. Milkweed, I think that died. Pretty sure that died. And some bee balm, which smells really nice. And then we also planted some pansies, which little hit or miss. I had to cover them with some frost cloth because the temps did drop, and my neighbor did tell me, Sarah, it's a little early to be planting those. But I couldn't resist. I went to the garden center with my daughters before we went to Chicago, and I saw all of the beautiful flowers, and I thought, I need them, you know, like spring. I'm manifesting spring and warmer weather. And then what did it do? It snowed. Yeah, Michigan. Why? Why are you doing that? But anywho, the garden is starting to come to life in the front of our house. And then if you watched the last episode, you'll recall that my husband built me 2 raised garden beds that are going to go in the back of the house, and hopefully those get installed this week. We are having some work done in the backyard, and fingers crossed all goes well and those can finally be moved to their final resting place, and then I can fill them with the sticks and twigs and everything that makes this beautiful soup of dirt that'll hopefully grow some good vegetables for us. And that's really what I wanted to share about the garden. We are planning to transplant some hydrangeas that are from the backyard. Wish us luck with that. I'm really nervous to transplant them. I feel like they won't, I don't know. Like I said, the plants in my yard are quite old. So they've just been living their best life where they have been for a long time. And I don't want to disturb them, but specifically the hydrangeas have to be moved because of the work that we're doing in the backyard. So I want to hopefully keep them thriving just in a new location. So yeah, what are you all growing? Like I saw that a few people were gardening on my last episode. They said that they also love to garden, or that when they had a young family that they, you know, taught their kids how to garden. And I just think it's so magical. It's also very hard. Like I've had to take a lot of deep breaths as my kids like get messy and learn to garden, because you don't just know how to dig a weed out of the ground. or not step on a flower. You know, you have to teach your child to do that. So yeah, anyways, that's like all I have for you today in terms of gardening. And if you find that interesting, cool. If you didn't and you're still sticking with me, thank you. I just find it really enriching to do gardening. Next, I wanted to just share that next month, at the end of May, I will be going to Tip of the Mitt up in Petoskey area with some of my friends, and it's beautiful up there. I went last year, and I just highly suggest checking out that festival. It's just really fun. You got a beautiful view of the water from the fairgrounds, Lake Michigan, and by then in Michigan, the temperatures will be lovely. It's hard to like imagine that in a month's time, it'll just be beautiful and warm because right now it's like hit or miss. But that's like the big thing that I'm looking forward to, as well as my daughter's birthday party. It is Frozen #2 themed. It's Into the Unknown, and I have to decorate the house and bake a cake and all the exciting things and cry because my youngest is 2. Okay. The next thing I'll probably cast on is either this shawl or this sweater. So which one do you think I should do? Do you think I should do the kid sweater or should I make a shawl? I don't know. That's like the big question. Ouch, I just hit my foot. Okay, thank you all for joining me on this rambling journey of Coffee Knits with Sarah, episode 7. I am trying to get back into the routine of 1 episode a month. It's just a little bit hard to do that right now, but I do want to become more consistent, and yeah, hopefully I can do that. Even as the temperatures warm up and I'm outside playing with my kids more and gardening and getting into things. But I hope wherever this video finds you, that you are doing well and that you're enjoying the warmer weather if you're in the northern hemisphere, and that you have a great knitting or crochet or spinning project that you're working on and that excites you. And thank you for joining me in this little corner of the internet where I like to talk about yarn. And I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.